I just hiked 10 miles in the rain, picked up ticks, brushed through poison oak, all hoping to find wildflowers. But honestly, I wasn't sure this was going to be worth it. Welcome to Henry Coe State Park in Northern California. It is right around the 1st of April, and it's beautiful wildflower season here in Henry Coe. And the springtime is definitely the time to come. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go look around, see if we can find some wildflowers. Now, the one thing you want to watch out for this time of year in Henry Coe is poison oak, because there's plenty of it. We had an exceptionally hot and dry spring, and that has affected some of these southern slopes where the grasses have already begun to dry out while the wildflowers are still trying to bloom. So it's a little bit of an oxymoron here in Henry Coe. But we're not going to see a super bloom today, but I do expect to see plenty of flowers, and I know I will because I actually scouted on the mountain bike yesterday. All right, folks, so we just took the trail from the Coe Ranch. It's called the Corral Trail, and that's the one that leaves from the Henry Coe Visitor Center and Campground and parking area. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to catch this fish trail here, and then we're going to go toward Frog Lake, and then we're going to come back on the Flat Frog Trail. So I'm going to check out the fish trail, which I've never done before, so that should be a lot of fun. All right, so I'm just past the junction that I just showed you, and this is the Manzanita Road. This is the main road that comes from the Visitor Center, so if you want to get to the Flat Frog Trail, you're going to take this on the mountain bike. This is Manzanita Road continuing, but what we're going to do is we're going to head this way, and you can see the forest trail goes to the right, and that takes us further up Manzanita Road. The fish trail is straight ahead, and on the fish trail you can see there's no bikes or horses. This over here is the Flat Frog Trail. This is a beautiful trail on a mountain bike. A few switchbacks, not really technical, but very narrow, and plenty of poison oak, unfortunately. Well, folks, the fish trail is really nice. It's definitely not a super bloom, but you can see there's some pretty good stands of these really delicate, light colored flowers, which I think are maybe kind of a lupine. There's one that's a little bit more purple. This is a huge poison oak bush here. And what you want to look for is 3 leaves in a group and very smooth stems. And the color is weird because it can be lighter green, deeper green in the spring, orangish, reddish. And that's the one drawback of hiking in Henry Coe in the spring. There's another one here. Look at this one. All right, folks, if you look around this tree here, you can see it's all kind of rooted up here. And I'm not sure what this is, but I suspect it could be the result of a wild boar or boars digging through here looking for grub. All right, here's some more digging and rooting along the fish trail here. All right, folks, here's a particularly bad stand of poison oak, and it's right across the trail here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around this way, just to avoid that little bit. And then you can see all along the trail here, this is all poison oak, especially on the right hand side. This right here, that's poison oak. That's poison oak. You can see a little bit of the orange or reddish color there. Here's another one leaning on the trail. So these are really tough to avoid. I'm just going to step through carefully. There's another little piece hanging across the trail. And then we're back to the lovely flowers. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the rain dropping and bouncing against the leaves of this poison oak. All right, so we just came down this steep trail to this low point here on the fish trail, and there's this little creek here running along, barely right now. And then I think what we got to do is climb out of here. All right, folks, we're getting kind of toward the last part of the fish trail. It's really pretty. You're in the forest. I've seen a lot of flowers along here. Here's a iris right down here by the side of the trail. A little beat up, but that's okay. And I think we're climbing out, and I'm not sure if we're going to come on the Middle Ridge Trail or the Frog Lake Trail or whatever, but let's see what happens. Here you can see the new and old growth on this manzanita bush. The old growth is a little darker and the new stuff is lighter. All right, folks, so we're finishing the fish trail. This is one of the possibilities that I thought about is that we would come up to this Middle Ridge Trail. This one leads to Poverty Camps in 2.6 miles. And this is another one that you can mountain bike on. It's actually a beautiful mountain bike or hike, and it opens up to this beautiful terrain. There's some open grass fields with trees and spectacular views, and just a really nice. All right, folks, as we cruise along the Middle Ridge Trail here, there's another caution I want to give you, which I've come to experience myself today, and that is ticks. And the reason ticks are dangerous out here is because they can carry Lyme disease, which is pretty dangerous and debilitating, so you don't want to get it. So one of the tips is wear light-colored pants or clothing in general, and that way you can see them crawling on you. I've had 2 on my beige pants, and 1 I just found on my hand just now. So just constantly check yourself, and then when you get back, you want to shower or just strip down and check yourself over. This is the Middle Ridge Trail, which is pretty nice. It's been uphill. I think we've got 1.3 miles on this, and then we've got to head down the Frog Lake Trail, and then we'll eventually get onto the Flat Frog Trail. That'll take us back to the Corral Trail and back to the Coe Ranch Visitor Center. And I know for a fact there's more wildflowers and some we haven't seen yet along the Flat Frog Trail, so stay tuned for that. All right, folks, so it looks like we're coming up on the Frog Lake Trail. I'm going to look back behind us. We came from that way. We did a lot of climbing to get here. And if we continue to the right here, that's the Middle Ridge Trail, and you get to Hobbs Road in 0.1 mile. And the one I want to do here is called the Frog Lake Trail. And it's 0.9 mile to Frog Lake. And as you can see, there's no bikes on this one. That's part of the reason I haven't done it. This one should be pretty cool. It's been some purple flowers up here that are plentiful, but they still don't turn the hills purple. It's raining a bit right now, just very lightly, just kind of drizzling. But I want to talk about the weather and why the flowers are maybe a little bit weird this year. So what happened is in February, we had that huge storm. It was cold, dumped a lot of water. That's the one that dropped 8 feet of snow up in the Tahoe area. And for those of you who are from California, realize that the weather's been really weird this year and the ski season's been weird. And that's the one that caused the avalanche that killed 9 people that most people have heard about, which is a tragic story, but that's one for another day. But anyway, after that huge storm in February, we just didn't get any more rain until basically right now. And it got really hot. So I think what happened, this is a theory, is that the early flowers sensed the rain, then the hot weather, and then they sprouted up and sent their flowers up, and then they've already gone to seed. And that's why we see some flowers that have gone to seed and some dry grasses. And then the other flowers were kind of saying, okay, there's a lot of rain, should be a good year for wildflowers. We'll just wait until it gets a little warmer and maybe get a little bit more rain before we sprout up in March, April. And then it was just super hot for the entire latter part of the winter and into March. And so what we're seeing now is more hardy flowers have sprouted up in the places that are a little cooler and more moist. And as a result, we have a really nice variety of flowers. They're really beautiful, but it's definitely not a super bloom year. This Frog Lake Trail is actually pretty nice. You can see this dried grass here. This is from the little dry spell we had. It's mixed in with the green, and then after this rain, I think the green grass is going to continue to grow and be green. Things are a little bit mixed up this spring, but at least there's a lot of flowers. The other thing I've noticed about the Frog Lake Trail is that you can see how wide open it is, and as a result, I haven't seen any poison oak, so it's really pretty navigable. We're going down a fairly steep hill, but it switches back and forth, so it makes it a pretty easy trail. So I definitely recommend this trail if you're looking for one that's a little bit easier on the bones and is lacking in poison oak. All right, folks, well, here's the old spring you can see right here. Dripping down, a little muddy here. And this is the old, what does it say? Pahahueyo spring. Water does not meet California domestic drinking water standards. Water should be purified before domestic use. So I guess you can use it, but you got to be careful. There's a trail that goes up the hill, but I think it's just to go look at the old spring, which we can do actually. I think there's another old tub up here or something, an old wooden structure. Yeah, there's an old wooden box there. And it says Pahahueyo Spring 1 and Pahahueyo Spring 2. So apparently there's 2 springs. And this is what the newer trough looks like. If you look closely, you can see the light raindrops that we're experiencing. And it's 0.3 mile to Frog Lake. And so far the trail's still wide open, no poison oak, kind of grassy, reasonable grade, really nice trail. All right, so here's the junction, and if we go that away, then we go to Frog Lake Camp, and if we go this away, we continue on the Frog Lake Trail. All right, folks, so this is the end of the Frog Lake Trail. We get to cross this little creek here, which looks like it's not a problem. Keep the feet dry. And then here's a junction. If we go to the right here, this is called Hobbs Road, and it's really pretty. It's got spectacular views, but it goes way up high over the ridge. It's super steep. I did it on the mountain bike and it's crazy steep. And then this is the way back to headquarters, and it looks like it's 1.5 mile if you go this way, so it's much shorter, and then it's 2.9 if you go this way, so it's 1.4 farther. But this is a great trail, and there's some flowers on here that we haven't seen yet, so I want to show those to you. And right away we have a couple of them here. This is the shooting star, and you can see they're kind of early birds, and those are kind of shot, but we'll see some better ones. I'll get a good photo of one up here, hopefully. All right, folks, we're on the Flat Frog Trail now. This is a really pretty trail. You can see some of these rocky areas and grassy areas, and there's plenty of wildflowers along here. I mentioned before that the Flat Frog Trail is mountain bike friendly, and there's two places where they ask you to walk your bike because they're just a little bit technical, but there's some stairs here. And they're not bad, but the only problem is if you blow it, it's a long way down. So that would be the reason to walk, not because they're so technical. I'll show you what it looks like looking down on them. You can see they're not bad. But like I say, if you fall down there, that's no bueno. And this is the warning sign that you see as you're coming the other way. All right, folks, well, that makes 3 salamanders and 3 ticks that we saw today. Anyway, we're continuing along this Flat Frog Trail. It's kind of stopped raining. There's a bunch of fog and mist in the distance, which I'll show you over here as we get around this tree. There you go, you can see some mistiness through the trees there. All right, folks, this is the other little technical section. They tell you to walk your bike, but this one is not as consequential as the other one. Well, maybe it is. Yeah, if you go down there, that's a big drop off. That's why they do it. It's not that they're so difficult. It's just that the price is high if you miss it. And then I'll show you right here is the other sign, the caution walk the bike sign. Folks, if you like wildflower content, be sure to stick around to the end of the video, because I'm going to show you 2 more videos that you'll be able to click on. One is the super bloom at Death Valley, and the other is the super bloom at Carrizo Plain. Both of them are great videos, and you'll be able to see some great wildflowers. So what we're doing now is we're just finishing up this Flat Frog Trail. And right up here, we're going to get back to the junction where we took the fish trail. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. All right, so that's the fish trail we took this morning. And then what we're going to do is head back over this way. And this will take us back to the Coe headquarters. It's 0.6 mile. And I'm also going to show you my 2 favorite wildflowers of this trip. One is pretty common, one is a little bit more rare. They're both amazing. Don't forget to click down below to see the other 2 videos. So anyway, thanks for coming along, and we'll see you next time.